It's time for a show!
Wild like wild.
Hello everyone, Wild Reviewer, I'm the Wild Reviewer, and welcome back to a little series I'm calling Rewild, a series where we look back at some old Wild Review episodes to see if my opinion still holds up today. And guess what, everybody? Guess what? I actually am wearing the same shirt that I wore in today's episode. So welcome back to today's episode of Rewild. Today we're going to be checking out one of the classic episodes of the Wild Review. I wrote down a number of things I would want to talk about on the Wild Review, and this was definitely one of them. Just because I thought it would be funny. I thought it'd be really funny if I took something from my childhood and just made jokes about it, being that kind of funny guy. I was a teenager after all, and this was around the age where you take children's content, put them in real life, and just make fun of them. That's just a common thing everybody does. Even comedians do that. They analyze children's television in such a drastic way. Today, we are checking out the Wild Review of the Blue's Clues movie, Blue's Big Musical Movie. This is the only Wild Review episode where I review something aimed at preschoolers, which is not a common thing that I wanted to do going forward. I was just going to pick this one and then I was going to move on. There were potential thoughts of reviewing other children films that I had grown up with that I thought would be funny to make jokes of. The two Sesame Street films, one of them Follow That Bird, the other one was Elmo in Grouchland. I believe the Wiggles movie may have also been a potential candidate for being poked fun at, but after I really analyzed it, I thought it would be best if maybe I stayed in the lane of just talking about normal cartoons, stuff on Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. Also, especially checking out bad movies to make jokes at. Why I even talked about Blue's Clues was just for the jokes, and I gotta be really honest, this episode I'll feel really bad for. I don't think I was hard on any other good piece of media besides this film, and this film had no reason for me to make the jokes that it did. I remember the jokes that I made, I remember the comments I made. I can honestly say it's not that I'm ashamed of it, because some of the jokes I do find very funny, but you can clearly tell that I am a teenager making fun of a children's movie. First, a little context of the property that I talked about, which I don't believe I did when I first talked about it. Blue's Big Musical Movie was not a movie per se, even though it has the word movie in the title. Some versions just call it Blue's Big Musical. In fact, that's the title on screen. They don't even include the word movie. What this essentially was a very special episode of the show that was released on home video first, and then years later it was aired on television. It had the structure of a film, but following the same format of the show. And I loved the film when I was a child, and I decided to make fun of it. I think if there's any episode of the Wild Review that I would point at to demonstrate that this was an act, this was me playing a character trying to make jokes out of everything, I would direct everybody to this specific episode. There's another thing that I reviewed in season 1 of the Wild Review that we're actually going to touch upon in this season, just not now, we're going to touch upon it later on, that resembles the treatment that I gave Blue's Big Musical Movie, and it had no right for me to do that. So it's only fair to go back, check it out, see what kind of comments I made, comment on the comments that I made, and just look it over. I mean, it's been 5 to 6 years. I've grown. I am an adult, kind of. So let's check it out. Let's go back in time and let's check out this review of the Blue's Clues movie. I don't know why I keep calling it that. It's Blue's Big Musical Movie. That's all it is. But I guess it can be the same title. It is the only Blue's Clues movie as of right now. But nevertheless, this was a classic Nickelodeon show, and there's really nothing wrong with it. However, this film does have its problems, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. The first thing I'd like to point out about this video, something I guess I should have said in the beginning that still kind of surprises me. At the time, I put a lot of work into this video, and I tried to make it the example of what I wanted the Wild review to be originally. And clearly, the work paid off, because it is currently the most viewed Wild review episode I have online, with a whopping close to 25,000 views at this moment, which surprises me. Maybe I should have stuck to making fun of children's media? Wasn't something I was planning on doing. We start off with the talking salt and pepper shakers greeting us and then telling us to go wake up Steve, because the clock is failing at her job.
Duck, duck, goose.
Okay, I don't want to know what kind of dream Steve is having, but I'm pretty sure whatever it is, it can either go two ways. He's either having a very funny, fluffy, kiddie-ish dream, or the other one is just really dirty. I know that doesn't make sense, but I mean, like, he's an adult. He has the right to think what he wants. Who knows what's going on in his dream? I mean, I don't even want to know what's going on in his dream. Can you tell it was a teenager? He's dreaming about playing Duck, Duck, Goose. I don't know what else to tell you. That's the most innocent thing that anybody could be dreaming of. I know there's a joke that I'm trying to tell here, but looking back on it, I have no idea what the joke was supposed to be. I don't know how you can get dirty with Duck, Duck, Goose, unless you're playing it in mud. I'm gonna stop right here, and I just want to have a little discussion about you. Yes, you, mailbox. I have a bone to pick with you, something that I've been wondering for years now. Are you a wizard? Just hear me out. You notice that in the beginning of the show, he's in the front of the house. But yet when we're inside, he's in the back of the house. You can see it through the window. So, how is that possible? How can he be in the front of the house and the back of the house? Because if you think about it, you enter the front of the house, and that's the back of the house that you're talking. This is the back of my house. This is the front. This is where the show, yeah, he's in that window, per se, and he's out there. How does that work? Also, what the hell is this? What is this gray thing that resembles the thing in Rugrats that's all red? What is that thing? Is that, like, your magic thing? I don't know what it is, but I want it. Personal space, man. Okay, we get it. You have a problem with mailbox. I don't know why, but for some reason I just went hardball on mailbox. Like I had a problem with him. But to be fair, I kind of stand with my main question that I started this with. I always wondered what that contraption was that allowed him to get off the pole in front of the house and maneuver his way all around the house. I have no idea what it's called. I don't think it was ever addressed. So that is a genuine question I have.
Best music show ever. Magic show? Did someone say magic show?
Ah yes, we're now shown example 1 of the running gag that will be running through this film. Everybody's deaf. Ah yes. The running gags of the film. Is that how you call them? The running gags? I guess they can be running gags, but they're just important bits of the film. They're recurring stories that happen. I obviously announce when a running gag happens, but I'll save you the time so this way we're not waiting until the next one. Let me just tell you what the 4 were. The first one, which I just mentioned, is everybody is deaf. It's made clear in this film, in the Blue's Clues universe, that everybody and anybody is deaf. Once you walk off screen, you can't hear what's going on. If you're 3 feet away, you can't hear what's going on. Maybe. Maybe that's still accurate. I mean, I make the comment here that Periwinkle is overhearing what's going on in the house, and he's a few feet away, he's at the window, and he misinterprets music show for magic show. What I don't bring up is how none of the windows in this house have glass on them. That's something I never noticed in the show itself, but also after analyzing all this and rewatching all of it, I realized there's no glass. A few windows have glass, but in this case, this particular window does not seem to have any glass on it whatsoever, which is a bit questionable. The next running gag I point out is the character side table drawer being shy. This is a common thing in the film. She is just very shy to speak up. She wants to be in the show, but she can't say she wants to be in the show because she's shy. That is just something of her character. That's how she is in this film. And it's also the last time I think she is like this in the show, because after this she's very expressive and very jumpy and very interactive. Also, I should mention this is the first time she interacts in the show at all. Before this, she was just always in the corner, just kind of doing her own thing. So this is the first time we also see her interact with everybody else in the show. The next running gag, which is also my favorite, is Mr. Salt can't cook. There are a few times in this movie where we hear Mr. Salt asking for help because he can't find anything. I do make some comments, and I stand by those comments. You're a salt shaker. You should know how to cook. The final thing, which is a big plot point in the film, Steve wants to find his own clue. We apparently, as the children that show up to his house for whatever reason every day, we are always the one finding it before him, and he is making it known that he wants to find it himself. Those were running gags. Do I think they were important to bring up? Absolutely. They're common things that happen throughout the film. I think side table drawer being shy and Steve wanting to find his own clue, I think those are a bit more important than the forever favorite Mr. Salt can't cook argument and the argument that everybody in the film is deaf. But you know, that's the importance of the film. Blue and Tiki, the clock that was failing at her job, tell everybody that they're doing a duet on how they want to be teachers in life. Because when I'm in class, I'm going to be listening to a talking dog. That's going to be my teacher. So remember this, Mom and Dad. When I come home, I can't complain to you anymore that my teacher, you know, is a bitch. I said a naughty word. Not only that, but later on in the video, we actually have a very adult moment happen. I think this is the only Wild review that actually has explicit language. If you've noticed, I try not to use explicit adult language in any of my videos. And that's where Blue's Clues comes in to play. Okay, here's my problem here. I understand this is a Blue's Clues movie. I understand that. Now, you can't have a Blue's Clues movie without the game. However, I think Blue's Clues is the last thing you want to do today. I seriously do. We've seen the game millions of times. You've played it 50 times now, 60, I don't know how many times this game has been played leading up to this film. But we know it takes about 20 minutes. Now, I know 20 minutes can go fast, but I don't think it's a good idea. I think you should just pick somebody. So this is me overreacting, taking things a little too seriously, thinking that you should not play Blue's Clues on a day that you are preparing for a big show. Multiple times, especially in the beginning of this review, I bring up how, you know, it's very impractical that they're just getting things ready for the show now. Like, there's a few times in the beginning where they're like, oh, we gotta practice for the show. My instincts, my jokey mind thinks, hey, they must be preparing all today. They must have left it all last minute. That bit where Steve says that they need to practice for the show, I don't know why it didn't dawn on me at the time that they could have possibly have just been practicing and now they want to practice again before the show happens. Now also, Steve prepares his own song for the first time the day of the show, which is a very last minute thing to do, but Steve is very good at doing that last minute. Also, there's this bit where Mailbox is putting up posters letting everybody know the show is happening. First off, I say something wrong when I do that little bit. This is what I said.
Look, Steve, I'm putting up these posters to tell everyone about the show. Oh, these are great.
Wait. You're putting up posters now? You couldn't put up posters later on today? You couldn't put up posters later on today? Later on today? Later on today? That is wrong. That's not what I intended to say. What I meant to say from the very beginning was, why would you put up posters now? You could have put them up earlier. You could have put them up days before the show to let everybody know the show is happening. You should not put posters up the day of the show. So that's to clarify some stuff. But anyway, playing a game of Blue's Clues while trying to put on a show, yes, is a lot of work, but I think it was a lot of exaggeration from me. I don't think it's a big deal. It's Blue's Clues. We're gonna play.
We are looking for Blue's Clues. We are looking for Blue's Clues. Why can't I ever find a clue like you?
No.
Yeah, why is that? How come I never find the clues first?
Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Hello? It's Steve. He figured it out. He figured it out. What? Who did? He figured it out. He's in a kids show and he's purposely to be dumb so this way the kids can be the geniuses. Oh my God. I never thought I'd see the day. Attention everyone! We have a code orange situation! Please start running around and screaming with your hands in the air like wild maniacs! I can't live in this world! I thought that was funny. It's a bit of an over-exaggeration, definitely. Doesn't really do anything. I mean, Steve already breaks the fourth wall. He kind of already acknowledges that something's going on, but I guess in this case when he realizes, hey, wait a minute, I never find the clues, you always do. I took that one step further and was just like, oh, he knows he's in a show. That's not right.
You know how you're a side table, right? Right. Well, you know how sometimes you hold things on top of tables, right?
Right.
Right. You could hold all our hats on top of your table. That's what you could do.
Being shy is also tough.
Okay. Hold on a second. I'm just gonna say this. I think this is racist. What just happened here? I think it's racist. There is racism in this movie. Alright, this is something I want to bring up, because I don't think this aged very well. I make a few comments about side table drawer being treated to racism multiple times throughout this movie. And obviously, again, they are supposed to be in the form of jokes, but I think it might be a bad taste, especially when it comes to this particular movie. I don't know why those were the jokes I decided to go with. It is kind of messed up when you think about it, that you are asking a drawer to do something only a drawer can do, but honestly, I don't think it was in the intent of being racist. I think in this world, yes, the idea of racism, what identifies as racism, can be very confusing because everything talks in this world. So I'm not entirely sure if I could still stand by these jokes, stand by the comments that I made. They do kind of seem a little immature, especially for a children's show, which obviously is not the intent. They're just trying to tell the story. There's honestly nothing wrong with it. You can clearly tell that my opinion has changed from most of the things that I said about this movie. I definitely think I was very hard on this, and I shouldn't have.
The cookies are done. Oh man. Wow. Don't eat those.
Steve then remembers that he needs to think of a song to sing in the show, which leads into the skidoo bit, and I swear to God, this is one of the longest ones ever in the show's history. Literally 17 minutes long. Maybe shorter than that, but that's at least the limit. 17 minutes long. Though if I'll be completely honest with you, this was kind of my favorite part of the movie, and it actually is where the special guest star, the late Ray Charles, appears. He plays a music note. I do like the skidoo bit. I didn't talk about it that much because, yes, it is very long, and I knew the video was going to be long already. And there really wasn't a need for me to touch upon it, honestly. There wasn't anything wrong about it, nothing I could make a joke about of it. I really liked it. And yes, it's still my favorite part of the movie. I think it's very fascinating. Ray Charles is really great in it. The music's very great, the song's catchy. I enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. I enjoy it.
need your help. We've got a very serious situation over there with Slippery.
What?
Will you help us?
Oh, yeah, no, come on, let's go help my friend Slippery. Let's do that.
Great. Hang on, Slippery.
Okay, Steve, what's the matter with him? Is he alright?
You alright?
Steve, I keep slipping.
Well, here's another bit of me overreacting a little. I remember thinking about this bit, and I thought it was pretty funny the way I reacted to it. His name is Slippery. He's a soap. That's what he does. Yeah, it would make sense for me to make that comment. But you know what? It's a bit about believing in yourself. Just because your name is Slippery and you tend to slip does not mean you have to slip all the time. That is something I don't think my past self understood. I feel like I'm acting a bit too mature. I'm like, look at this idiot making fun of a children's movie. That's not how it should have been. So Steve starts losing his confidence, and I swear to God, this was one of the most saddest thing ever in my childhood.
What if I never find the clue? I'm not as good at that as you. I feel like giving up.
This was a very depressing moment in the film, not only to just watch it back, but also I remember as a child it was very sad. Most of what I say in this is true up until I blame Blue, but this is essentially the turning point in the film. And in fact, going back to what I just said about believing in yourself, I think that's one of the main themes of the film itself, is to believe in yourself, that you can do it. Putting on a show is extremely hard. Doing something yourself is extremely hard. And I think this is one of the pure examples of that. Steve trying to find his own clue is very hard to do. I don't know how. It's a blue paw print. Not that hard to locate. You just gotta look really good. With that said, I blame the dog. The comment that I blame the dog, it's just another bit of me trying to be funny. I don't really have a comment on it, I just kind of go all out with it. I will say though, at some point throughout this little rant, I do bring up Tickety and how much of a liar she is. Why are we playing Blue's Clues in the first place? What exactly happened that we need to play this game today? Oh, that's right. Tickety lost her voice. She can't sing in the music show. Well, Mailbox, if you just turn your head down, hello, she's right there! And I do want to say, I stand by that. Because she is a liar. She's there singing. Look at her, she's singing. I think this is just in general whenever you do a movie or a show, no matter who it's for, if a character can't do something, you should not display them doing it. Multiple times we do see Tickety singing in this film. Even if she's not singing loud, she shouldn't be singing at all. She lost her voice, so therefore she should not be singing. If that is the case, then there's no reason to go through the events that we have to go through, obviously. Maybe having her not sing would have been a better idea, and maybe I would have made this comment. Maybe I wouldn't have agreed with the comment. Yeah. So she's the liar. Blue just wants to do something. Side table drawer is doing stuff a drawer is doing. Mailbox was given a hard time for some reason. And Mr. Salt can't cook. That is all we have taken from this review of this children's movie. Well, that's pretty much it. Those are all the comments that I'm going to re-comment on about Blue's Big Musical Movie. The last comment, though, is that I gave the movie an okay rating, and I'd like to change that. I'd like to change it. I have yet to change a rating for one of these movies yet. I'm going to say that this is a good movie. I don't know why I gave it an okay rating. It probably had something to do with the personality I was displaying on camera. But I really like it. I still like it. It's a cute film. I can look back on it now and really enjoy it. Is this button all the way down? No. It's not, it just looks that. I think this was the only Wild review that I was hard on the most when it didn't deserve it. Some of them deserved the hard comments I gave them. There were a lot of things I talked about in the Wild review, regardless if it was a movie or a TV show or a specific episode of an episode, that deserved the hard comments just because I really didn't like them. But this didn't. This was a preschool show. I'm making fun of a preschool show. Blue's Clues was a very influential show for me. It definitely taught me a lot. It was the one that taught me how to draw out of every skill that I have, which is weird because it's a problem-solving show, but I enjoyed it. It was a cute film. It's very enjoyable. It's very entertaining. The music's great. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I was too hard on Blue's Clues. You hear that, Blue? I'm sorry. I thought your movie was great. Like I said, there's another Wild review episode where I essentially do the same thing. I think I was a little too hard on this children's movie, and I shouldn't have. We're going to be taking a look at that later on, but for now, that's all I got. I don't know why I did this. It made it look like that I was going to be transitioning into something else. That's all I got for this Wild review, Rewild episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you'd like to check out the previous episode, if you'd like to watch this one in full, you can click the link in the description. That's something I haven't really been saying. You can check out all these original Wild review episodes in the description below. But not only is the description below, but the comments are below too. Leave in the comments, what is your take on this film? Did you grow up with it? Did you like it? And what did you think of my comments that I made previously? What do you think of the comments that I made now? Have your opinions of the film changed when you first saw it or when you first decided to talk about it? I'm assuming you're a review person yourself because that's all anybody is online. Also, let me know in the comments if there are any other Wild review episodes you'd like me to look over. Like I said, I've got a few of these lined up, but if there are any in particular that you'd like me to re-look over and re-give my thought on, let me know in the comments. That's going to do it for this episode of Rewild. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time in the next episode of Rewild. Thanks for watching The Wild Review of The Wild Reviewer, and you just saw me review a thing. That was a good outro. I gotta remember to do that next time.
Wild like wild.